Hello everyone and welcome to the ESR Peugeot 208 GTI Championship. It looks like a little bit of a depleted grid unfortunately this week. I have been told that Connor is on his way, but it seems like we only have 5, possibly 6 drivers that will be on the grid tonight. Unfortunately, our normal host Andy Hopley isn't around today. He has been called into work, sadly. So I am actually hosting tonight. Myself, Nick, the Hammer Games. It looks like the drivers are actually just having a quick chat as to whether or not we go ahead with the round tonight, or if it gets postponed to next week. Okay, it looks like we might actually have a few more coming. Let me just check a second. So we're now up to 6, and certainly got at least one more coming, it seems now, which will be Connor as soon as he gets into the lobby. But in the meantime, while we wait for everyone to arrive fully, let's have a quick look. We'll come out of that a second. We'll just set up our feed and make sure we're all ready to go. It looks like there might be a slight delay on the racing side of things. Qualifying is meant to be underway now, but obviously we'll have a slight delay while we try to get a few more people into the lobby. But in the meantime, like I say, we'll have a look. We are tonight at the wonderful Laguna Seca circuit, which is obviously based in the USA, actually in the heart of California. Most famous part of the circuit, which I think most people know, is the infamous corkscrew corner, which is right at the very top of the hill, and a sudden drop down on a left-right turn. Absolutely fantastic to watch, and fantastic if you can get anywhere near it to view the cars coming flying through there. Obviously, with the likes of IndyCar and NASCAR years back. I don't know about recently, but certainly a few years back, NASCAR used to use the circuit as well. And to see these cars fly or come flying down through the hill, you get a look at the rise there just in the mini screen. See the cars come flying down the corkscrew is just something else to envisage as well. So it'll be nice to see these Peugeots come round and enjoy seeing. Hopefully, what action we can get. It looks like we now have 7 cars on the grid, so unfortunately a depleted grid tonight, but hopefully still gives some good racing as we have a look through and see who's actually out on track at the moment. We've got Andrew Ostler here, 2nd place in the championship in his white 208, or white front-ended 208. Hi Phil and hi Darren on the comments on YouTube. I'll try to keep up to date as much as possible with YouTube messages as well as we go along, but with hosting as well and everything else in between, things might get lost, so I do apologise if anything does in the meantime. Elsewhere we've got Ismail Nemri, who's actually just coming up to the corkscrew that I was talking about just now. We flick right slightly, and then it's the big drop here. Left then right. You can see the game and the pictures there don't quite do the drop justice, unfortunately, but that is a massive drop. Something in the back of my head is telling me it's something like a 20 or 25 foot drop from top to bottom. It might even be more than that, but I'm trying to get statistics from the back of my head here now, so I could well be wrong, as Andrew just runs a little bit wide there on the climb up to the corkscrew himself this time. As you see him, like I say, flick right and then left down the hill. That is a huge drop, isn't it? As we just check, see if we're going to get any more drivers coming in. I'm not sure if we are. Have a quick ask and see if we're going to get any more for any more. Otherwise we will go racing with the guys we have. As we come out and just check who we've got. I am waiting for one more, which would be Mr. Dan Cope, who was new to the series last week and had a fairly good start, scoring 15 points last week, so a good little showing from himself. We'll pop back out onto the track and make sure that we pick up some sort of action as we go round. So like I say, we are at Laguna Seca in the heart of California, in the USA, and a very interesting circuit. Sand rather than the likes of gravel and grass around the outside, before the infamous gravel traps that will lure you in and really kill any speed that you do. Very odd setup to have sand around the outside of the track, but it does seem to work. The likes of Bahrain in the Formula 1 circuit seem to do quite well. The obvious thing with both here and Bahrain, it's the sand. Obviously when the wind picks up, the worry is that the sand blows across the track, and the way both circuits counteract this is actually spreading glue over the area to actually stop the sand blowing around. Just one of those real random facts that I have picked up over the years of watching Formula 1 and IndyCar. So Laguna Seca is a 2.238 mile circuit with 11 corners. Unfortunately not many of them named. It is a bit of a rarity to have named corners in American circuits. But as we are with Connor, we'll have a quick look as he comes round turn number 11 towards the start-finish straight. It's a very odd circuit. They've officially named it 11 corners. You can see here Connor's now approaching turn number 1 across the line. This is classed as turn 1 up over the hill. It's a slight kink to the left into turn number 2, which is known as the Andretti hairpin, which is a double apex, so it could be classed as 2 corners. They would class it as 2 if it was an oval track, but no, it's 1 corner here at Laguna, at the Andretti hairpin. Then we've got turn 3 and 4 as they head out towards the far end of the circuit here. And it just starts to drop downhill here around turn number 4, and then just starts as we come around the unnumbered kink of the back straight here. Just starts to climb uphill here at turn number 5, and then off to turn number 6, which is the real big climb up towards the corkscrew chicane, which again we have some very weirdly numbered positions for the corkscrew. Obviously we've got the Rahal Straight on the approach to the corkscrew with turns 7, 8 and 8A for some strange and unknown reason. But yes, 8A, and then turn number 9 is the long sweeping left hand corner here. which is known as the Rains curve, and then 10, and then back to the final corner, turn number 11. Like I say, not many corner names unfortunately, but that is an uncommon thing for American circuits to have. So we'll just check that we are all in and ready as we just wait for Dan to join into the lobby, and we will get underway for qualifying, which is a 5-minute shootout, as all the cars will get possibly 2 laps, but we shall see. Let's just answer a few questions here. Andrew, I will answer you in the chat, but I'll also let you know, yes, the slipstream is set to strong for these races. It is the setup that Andy wanted originally for the series. This might be reviewed at the end of the series and put to week for season 2. So it looks like we have our 8 drivers here all ready to go. So let's make sure we're ready to go and get qualifying underway. So we've got the N200 category, which is the Gran Turismo Sport category for the Peugeot 208s, and these guys are set to the sports hard tyres, so it's the smallest amount of grip, so you'll see them getting very back heavy, tail happy, sorry, through some of the corners and the likes. But we shall see if anyone can pull a surprise or anything like that within the races tonight. We do have Connor, who is our current championship leader, as qualifying is just about set to get underway in about 5 seconds time. So we've got Connor Heron, who is our championship leader, currently on 107 points. He is running the black front ended Peugeot. In second place in the championship is Andrew Osler. Let's just turn that one down a little. Second in the championship is the person we are currently riding on board with, Andrew Osler. And then we have... Why have we gone into a weird camera angle? Because we're coming down the pit lane, that's why. There we go. So Andrew Osler is our second place person in the championship, currently on 94 points, so 13 points behind Connor Heron. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get one over on Connor tonight, and maybe close that gap up going into round number 5 next week at Goodwood, back into the UK. Next up we have Craig Thomas, who unfortunately missed, I believe it was round 2, I think he missed, and that was purely down to some issues getting connected and getting underway. But it's good to see him back on the grid now. Andrew making a slight mistake there in the early part of the outlap, but we go up to the front, and we've got Darren Baldwin here, who is standing in tonight for our normal host Andrew Hopley, and see if Darren can pull out some of the previous masterful driving that we have seen from him in the past in other categories, and see if he can do anything to stop Connor or Andrew maybe taking a victory or two himself tonight. as we come round now, completing the outlaps, and it will be Darren who takes to the track for the first flying lap of the session, with just about 3 minutes to go. So we probably get 2 flying laps for most of the drivers here this evening, depending on where they are currently on track. Maybe a few. Yeah, we should be all right for 2 laps for everyone, luckily, tonight. So we've got Darren Baldwin coming round turn number 3, going up towards turn number 4. He's closely followed by Michael Watts, who's probably just too far away to get any sort of slipstream off of Darren there. Third on track is Andrew Ostler, who's looking a little bit closer to Michael Watts, so you might actually get some sort of slipstream up towards the corkscrew. Behind him is Dan Cope, who, like I say, is new to the series. Behind him, certainly close enough to get some sort of slipstream here, will be Connor Heron. Have to wait and see if he decides to make a move on Dan, or use that slipstream up towards the corkscrew. He's very, very close. It actually looks ahead, like Andrew's got ahead of Michael, so, and sure enough, Connor makes the move early up towards the corkscrew. So no use of the slipstream up towards the corkscrew here, and try to take as much power and gain as much speed as we can on the probably the longest part and longest straight on the track, as we head up to now Darren Baldwin round turn number 11 to set the first lap time here of the session, and put the marker down for everyone else. Andrew Ostler behind, looking a little bit closer as Darren goes across the line. It's a 1:47.6. Ostler behind him crosses the line now and is 0.2 of a second quicker behind Michael Watts, who must have made a mistake somewhere along the line, as Connor goes up into first place nice and early there with a fantastic time of 1:46.9. Can anyone else break that 1:47 barrier? Ismail Nemri behind on a 1:47.2 goes into second place. Ostler third, Baldwin in fourth, and then we've got Thomas here, who's the only driver I haven't actually picked out as yet, but in his wonderful Welsh livery, as always, for the 208s, proudly sporting his country on his 208 there. Currently in fifth, 0.9 of a second off the pace of Connor Heron tonight so far. And then the people behind, who I believe have made a few mistakes in their first flying laps, which will be Dan Cope, who's now coming under extreme pressure from Ismail Nemri in qualifying already. Then we've got Michael Watts and Neil Smell there at the rear. Yes, certainly some sort of issue there. We can just about see the Scottish flag there on the crash helmet of Neil as he approaches the run up towards the corkscrew. We go back to the front of the field as Darren Baldwin comes down to turn number 11. This will be the last laps of qualifying, so it's do or die now, as Darren pulls himself over towards the pit wall and can't improve his time, unfortunately, so it's going to be at least fourth there for Darren. No improvements as yet from anyone. I say that as Connor goes even quicker. Michael Watts improves to 6th place, 1:46.6. Is anyone going to be able to stop Connor in tonight's racing? It remains to be seen, but that is one hell of a marker down there. Thomas there improving to 1:47.5, and that is the end of qualifying. It will be Connor on pole, 0.6 of a second ahead of Ismail Nemri, who popped in a fantastic time just towards the end of qualifying there. So we have a 7-lap race. It will be everything to the wall as they go. There's no tyre wear, no fuel wear, or no fuel rates, just pure out and out qualifying paces as quickly as we can go. Connor here on pole position. We can't get a decent look at the lights unless we go on board with Connor. That's 4 lights there, and off and away we go. Connor seems to get a decent start. Oh, it's a bogged down start. I thought it was a decent start there, but it's Ismail Nemri who goes up into the lead, and Connor goes from pole position to almost last before the first corner. Up front, it's Andrew Oster about to make a challenge on Ismail Nemri, and he's up into the lead with Darren looking on behind. We've got 3 cars all battling for 4th position by the looks of it, with who we've got there? We've got Cope, Thomas and Connor recovering off that unfortunate bad start there, with Michael Watts just behind him. As we go back to the front, and it's Andrew Oster now pulling away by about 7/10 of a second from Ismail Nemri, who's coming under a little bit of pressure from Darren Baldwin, who's got Craig Thomas right behind him, as they head up towards and start the climb up towards turn number 6, and the wonderful run towards the corkscrew. Behind them we have Connor Heron, who's now pulled himself up into 5th position, with Dan Cope just behind, as Michael Watts goes off wide, just about keeps it back on track there, as Darren Baldwin is coming under even more pressure here from Craig Thomas, as Oster's gone out wide, and it's going to cost him dearly there to Ismail Nemri, who takes the lead from Andrew. Let's have a look, see if we can just catch what happened there with Andrew into the corkscrew, just that little bit late on the brakes, running that little bit deep, catching the gravel, and unfortunately giving that position up early, but we've still got a few laps to go as they come across up towards the start finish line for the first time. Ismail Nemri pulling over towards the pit wall, trying to break that slipstream behind, and he will put a lap lead into the books for lap number 1, with Andrew Oster behind him under increasing pressure from Darren Baldwin in 3rd, as Connor makes the move on Thomas up into 4th place. A little bump up the rear on Darren there, as Darren goes up into 2nd. That might have been a little push just to help him up into 2nd, ahead of Andrew Oster, as Oster dives towards the inside now to try and get 2nd place back, as Connor and Thomas are all together. It looked like Thomas had a little bit of an issue there coming out of turn number 3. Let's have a look. A little bit sideways by the looks of it, and yeah, he just catches a little bit too much there of Connor. As we go back to the live action, and it's 4 cars all battling for 2nd place here, as Ismail tries to pull away at the front. We've now got Darren Baldwin up into 2nd place, hitting that sausage curve, just tracking him out that little bit wider, but keeps it on track. 3rd place is Andrew Oster from Connor Heron, and Craig Thomas there in 5th place. 3-car battle here as well for 6th place, as we've got Michael Watts and Dan Cope battling up into the corkscrew. Cope moving towards the inside, just pushing Watts out wide, but Watts is probably just about going to keep hold of that position, as we've got Neil Smell behind, just waiting, biding that time, waiting for the mistake from one of the guys up ahead of him. As we go to the front again, it's still Ismail Nemri from either Darren Baldwin or Andrew Oster, as Connor moves over to the side to serve his penalty that he picked up there. I would imagine coming out of the corkscrew hairpin. Commonplace to pick him up, unfortunately, has just dropped him back that little bit, as Oster and Baldwin continue to fight, and just drop back that little bit further from Ismail, who's now got a 1-second lead over the two of them. 4th place is still Connor. Connor's managed to get straight back in front of Craig Thomas here early on, as the two of them yet again side by side through turn number 3. A little bit of door handle rubbing going on as well between the two of them, but Thomas now has that position for the time being. Behind them, 6th place is now Dan Cope, who obviously makes a mistake there and tries in vain to block Michael Watts' move up the inside. Watts now up into 6th place, Cope into 7th, and Neil Smell is still sat here just hoping and praying that these two will come to blows, as he makes a move on Dan Cope. He saw the opportunity there for one position, but decides to just sit back and let the two of them fight amongst each other. As we go back to the battle for 2nd place, and it's Darren and Andrew Ostler yet again up to the corkscrew for the 3rd time. Darren now just managing to put a little bit of a gap on Andrew, and is actually taking 0.3 of a second, as it looks like. Yes, Ismail Nemri has got a half-second penalty, and that's going to prove very, very costly over the start-finish line this time round, as he serves part of the penalty going into turn number 11, which is a common thing here. He'll have to pull to the inside, as Osler has got one as well. This could be everything that Darren Baldwin has wanted, and sure enough, he goes up into the lead of the race now. That small mistake being very, very costly there for Nemri. So with Osler obviously having a penalty, that's dropped him now back into the clutches of Connor Heron, who is in 4th place, running a little bit wide through the Andretti curve, through the Andretti hairpin. Is that going to allow Craig Thomas a chance to close up on him into turn number 3? They're not going to go side by side this time, just for a change. They're going to follow each other through. In 6th place we have Michael Watts, who's now actually managed to get a bit of a gap, as Neil Smell pulled himself up past Dan Cope into 7th place. We have missed out. I don't know if we'll catch it anywhere on the replays. Yes, down into turn number 2, and the Andretti hairpin. Fantastic move up the inside there of Dan Cope to take 7th place away, and can he hold on to that as the race continues? He's still got that position at the moment and doing a fantastic job as Cope goes up the inside this time, leans on Neil a little bit through turn number 5 there, and takes the position back and sets his sight on Michael Watts again. We go back up to the front, and it's anyone's guess as to who's going to lead the 4th lap, as Darren Baldwin still leads the way, but he's coming under even more pressure now from Ismail Nemri as they come through turn number 10 and towards the final corner. It's Connor Heron behind now in 3rd place, as Andrew Osler looks towards the inside of turn 11 and thinks better of it. Kind of running out wide there. Was there a tap on the rear there from Andrew Osler? We shall have to see, but very unlike Connor to run that deep and that wide. Let's pop back and see if we can spot any issue there. It's too early. Let's try that one. As we see them come down towards the hairpin, they're very close. There might have been a slight bit of contact there. You just see Connor's car just becoming a little bit unsettled. It's costing a couple of spaces down into 5th place. But sure enough, he'll be looking to get back onto the tail of the 4 cars in front, which is still led at the moment by Darren Baldwin from Ismail Nemri in 2nd place, just 0.2 of a second behind, and closing quickly in that slipstream. He's decided to go dirt racing into turn number 5. That's going to cost him a little bit, but it'll help with the slipstream up towards the corkscrew behind Andrew Osler, coming under more pressure from Craig Thomas, and Craig Thomas is going to go round the outside here, is he, of turn number 6. A very brave move, but he makes it stick. Up into 3rd place now for Thomas, with Osler now down into 4th, who's going to have another go up towards the corkscrew, as Connor now catches and closes in on all 4 of them, and he's going to make it a 5-way battle yet again for the lead of the race. And it's still, with just coming up to 2 laps to go, it's still anyone's guess as to who's going to win this race. We've got Baldwin obviously coming into turn number 10 here, and towards the end of lap number 5, still leading by 0.3 of a second just about from Ismail Nemri in 2nd place, who thinks about the look up the inside and decides against it, as we jump on board now with Ismail and the approach over the start and finish line onto lap number 6, up over the crest of the hill. He goes towards the outside at turn number 1, down towards the braking zone at the Andretti hairpin. He's going to go and try going around the outside. Is he in the switchback maybe on Darren? But Darren just holds that inside line. Well defended there, as he keeps hold of 1st place. Ismail going to have a look and jumps over the sausage curve there of turn number 3, just loses a little bit ground in towards turn number 4. Darren's rear end there stepping out that little bit. That allows Ismail to have a bit of a close up and a look towards the outside of turn number 5, as we see the 2 of them. Ismail just taking the lead ever so slightly and quickly there, but the inside line prevailing there for Baldwin, as we see Connor has actually moved up into 4th place now. Ismail just getting the rear wheels on the dirt there into the corner and just stepping the rear end out, and that's allowed Craig Thomas now up into 2nd place, and Connor's going to have an attempt at 3rd place up into the corkscrew. Late braking, Ismail sideways again on the latter part of the braking. And sure enough, Connor is going to take advantage of that on the exit up into 3rd place, and Osler is going to have a go as well. Is he? Not quite. Ismail getting a little bit sideways, and Osler even more sideways there at turn number 10, and that's going to drop these two out of contention that little bit. I believe, though the slipstream might help them down the start-finish straight. Osler, with that 0.2 of a second penalty, just pulls up and serves the rest of that penalty before the timing line, like he's meant to do according to ESR rules. Onto the final lap now, and it's Darren Baldwin with a half-second lead into turn number 1, but he's wide, and Craig Thomas is having a look up the inside of the first part of the Andretti hairpin. He's certainly a little bit closer now, and that gap is now already down to 0.4 of a second into turn number 3. And we see Baldwin, Thomas, Heron, then Nemri, and a little bit further back Osler, who looks to be set for 5th place for race number 1 for the time being. Connor has picked up a second penalty, and that's going to be very costly in his battle for the lead here and for victory. That could drop him down into the clutches of Ismail Nemri here. We will have to see as they approach turn number 6 and the climb up the hill towards the corkscrew. It's 3 as 1 almost, as Craig is looking both forwards and backwards at the same time as he tries to put the pressure on Darren Baldwin, but is also on the lookout for Connor behind into the corkscrew. And Ismail Nemri has caught them massively here, turned it into a 4-way battle, but it looks like Baldwin might just have done enough here to secure race 1 victory. He's got half a second lead into turn number 10, and barring an almighty mistake here into turn number 11, there should be victory for Darren in race number 1. Anyone's guess behind as Craig Thomas tries his best as Connor serves his 0.3 of a second penalty. Is that going to be costly towards Ismail Nemri in 3rd place? It looks like it. Darren Baldwin takes victory from Craig Thomas, Ismail Nemri in 3rd, Connor Heron in 4th. 5th place will be Andrew Osler. 6th place will be Michael Watts in the end, with it looks like Dan Cope in 7th place, and Neil Smell just dropping back that little bit towards the end of the race, unfortunately not able to take advantage of any battle between the two drivers in front of him at the end. But a fantastic first race there for everyone, as we see the final results come up on screen there, as Darren Baldwin takes a victory for race number 1. he comments on the YouTube channel as he's standing in for Andy Hopley that Andrew will be very, very pleased with that race tonight. As we just save the replay, we see that we have race number 1 results were Darren Osborne in 1st place, 0.6 of a second ahead of Craig Thomas, who was just pretty much the same amount of time ahead of Ismail Nemri. Connor Heron ruining that 1 second penalty on the final lap. It's cost him 3rd place there, unfortunately, possibly even 2nd, finishing in 4th place with Andrew Osler in 5th. I think we must have missed a slight mistake going into the Andretti hairpin on the final lap there of Andrews. That's just cost him a little bit there, unfortunately, with Michael Watts in 6th, Dan Cope in 7th, and Neil Smell there in 8th place. So there's usually a couple of minutes break between the two races here, as we just change a few settings over, and just to mix it up that little bit this time round. Let's change that one, make sure that we get this all right first time round. that? I believe so. So yes, the second race will be a reverse grid race, so obviously the likes of Neil Smell will be on pole position this time round, and Darren Baldwin will be at the rear of the pack this time, as the drivers just take the time to get a drink, pop to the loo, do the things that they need to do, and sort themselves out. Darren Osborne, I have no idea where that's come from. I do apologise, Darren. So I'm used to having you. Last time we done this, you were in the comments box with me, and I'm used to you being next to me and correcting my wonderful pronunciations of random people who aren't even in the race. So I do apologise, Darren. Yes, you are Darren Baldwin, and I'll try not to call you Osborne in the second race. This will be an interesting one as we head towards race number 2. Like I say, the reverse grid race will always throw up a little bit of a surprise with the championship leaders and the championship protagonists at the front. Well, I say at the front, they're going to be about mid-pack, but they are going to be nose to tail. You'll have Andrew Ostler, who obviously lost a couple of points in the battle with Conor Heron in the championship on that first race. So the championship difference will be about 15 points here now going into race number 2. It'll have to be an outstanding drive from Ostler, and ideally he could do with victory here, and Conor slipping up to take the battle that little bit further into Goodwood next week, as it does seem like it's going to be between those two. Unfortunately, with Craig missing last week, sorry, not last week, week before round number 2, it does seem to have cost him dearly and dropped him out of the title battle. Although he will obviously do everything he can to pull himself back into contention. So it looks like we have all drivers back here ready to go, and let's see if we are ready to rock and race, as they would say. It looks like it, because all have entered, and race number 2 will be off and underway very shortly, I would imagine. Looks like it. That one. So then, we will get race number 2 underway. The final has now started. Like I say, reverse grid race, so it'll be Neil Smell on pole position and looking to take advantage as much as he can down into turn number 1. It's actually turn number 2, because the little kink on the rise and crest of the hill is classed as turn number 1. But the 8-car grid there looking fantastic, with Smell on pole, Cope second, Watts third, Oster fourth, Heron in fifth, and Ismail, Nemri, Thomas and Baldwin at the rear of the field. We will jump on board yet again with Neil Smell for the start of the race. 4 lights are up and they are out and away we go. A little bit of wheel spin there from Smell as he gets underway, but it looks like he's going to hold that lead for the time being anyway, down into turn number 2, and he just about gets the better of Cope. Does he use up the inside at the moment? Slightly later on the brakes, but Smell does manage to keep hold of that through the second apex, and Cope will take advantage as Oster has made a fantastic start up into third place already. Smell dropping down to second place with Dan Cope there in the lead as they belt through turn number 3 already, and it's actually Neil Smell who's taken the lead back as Cope ran that a little bit wide, and this time it's Smell's turn to run that a little bit wide as Ostler goes up the inside, or around the outside I should say, into turn number 5 to take the lead of the race. from Smell, who is now in second place, from Cope in third, Nemri in fourth, Heron in fifth, Watts sixth, Baldwin in seventh, and Thomas there in eighth place. As Osler climbs the hill up towards the braking zone for the corkscrew for the first time, lap number 1 off 7 from Laguna Seca, as Smell runs that a little bit wide there, and it looks like Watts even further wide towards the rear of the field there. What happened there to Watts? Let's see if we can jump back and have a look. He was under pressure there into the braking zone with Baldwin and Thomas on the rear, and he just seems to get the braking that little bit wrong, locks the rears a little bit sideways, and unfortunately drops towards the rear of the field, but he'll be able to catch up nice and quickly coming down the start-finish straight. As we go back to the front, and it's Osler with a 2-second lead over Cope, who's now under increasing pressure from Nemri and Heron, who seems to be going almost either side of him. Memories of Spa and Schumacher, and I think it was Hakkinen either side of a back marker, as Cope does fantastically well to keep hold of second place there, with Nemri in third, Heron in fourth, Thomas now up into fifth place ahead of Smell, Baldwin in seventh, and Watts has sure enough caught the back of the train already, and he's putting Baldwin under a little bit of pressure nice and early on lap 2. Like I say, at the front we have Andrew Osler just trying to keep his distance, keep that 2.2 second lead, just breaking that slipstream. With the slipstreaming setting on strong, that could be very, very costly if Dan Cope or any of the others can get anywhere near that sort of slipstream. That just disintegrate that 2.2 second lead that he currently has. As we have Heron now in third place, looking to put a bit of pressure on Cope in second. Thomas now dropped down to third. Smell up into fifth place now, ahead of Baldwin, as Nemri has dropped back massively. What's happened to Ismail? Let's have a look, see if have we missed it. We have missed it. Looking at that, I would say he's had an issue coming through turn number 6, unfortunately, and run wide, so he'll be looking to gain that time back. He's already taken nearly half a second back towards the leaders already, but it's 4 seconds now that Osler has a lead over the three-way battle for second place, with Cope, Heron and Thomas battling it out amongst themselves, and a three-way battle behind those for fifth place. Cope's still flashing his lights as he goes around turn number 2, but loses out this time, unfortunately, to Heron and Thomas. But he drives back up the inside of Thomas and back into third place. Can he put a bit of pressure on Connor Heron now for second place? Always a sign that someone's using a control pad when racing, rather than the wheel and pedals when they go round a corner and the headlights flash. As Connor makes a small mistake there and runs that a little bit wide, that sausage coat kicking him out round turn number 5. And that would give Dan Cope every chance he needs up the hill towards the corkscrew for the third time. As Osler's still got that 4.4 second lead, he's almost untouchable already. As Connor Heron tries to do everything he can. Dan Cope there in third place. Thomas in fourth, right up behind Cope this time round. I'll be looking to make a move possibly down into turn number 11. Baldwin now up to 5th behind him, with Smell in 6th. 7th place is Michael Watts, and 8th place Ismail Nemri, who's closed up to the pack fantastically well already, and only 2 seconds back now. 4 seconds gained within the lap, as Osler goes across the line, or to con the American phrase, across the stripe for the third time, starting lap number 4, and still with a 4.4 second lead, nearly 4.5 seconds from Connor, who is in second place. Thomas now in third, and finally ahead of Dan Cope there in fourth place, who's now coming under increasing pressure from Baldwin there, race 1 winner just keeps that slight tighter line through turn number 2. It's going to put him on the outside now though for turn number 3, as Dan positions his car brilliantly to keep that position. Darren just that little bit on the sand, just unsettles the car a little bit. Dan doing the same thing on the exit of turn number 3, puts the two of them back together again. Baldwin trying to go around the outside of turn number 4, gives him the inside line for turn number 5, and it should allow him to get the move done down into the braking zone. Turn 5, drop it down a gear or 2 depending on what sort of driver you fancy and the sort of drive that you can pull out of the corner and up the hill towards turn number 6 and the corkscrew hairpin. Dan going to try and keep in the slipstream there of Darren up towards turn number 7 and the beginning of the corkscrew. Darren going slightly defensive there early on into the braking zone, down to first or second gear. Darren running that little bit wide, and that's everything that Darren wanted, and up into 4th place again for Dan Cope. Fantastic, as Neil Smell trying to get in on the action here as well in 6th place and not giving up at all. Ismail Nemri now up into 7th place with Michael Watts now in 8th. We go back to our leader Andrew Oster, who's lost about 0.3 of a second to Connor over that lap, but that's not too bad. That's manageable pace. So it could just be Andrew just taking it steady, making sure that there's no mistakes here, any mistakes, and that will be Connor right on his tailpipe again. Keep it clean, keep it nice, and Andrew will certainly take victory here in race number 2 at Laguna Seca. Behind the 2 championship leaders is the man in 3rd place in the championship. It's Craig Thomas with the Welsh livery, who's dropping back off of the rear of Connor Heron, but it's a 3-way battle now for 4th place, as we have Dan Cope in 4th, Darren Baldwin in 5th, and Neil Smell, who is always where the action is, regardless of any action somewhere on the grid. Neil is always there and trying his best to take advantage. You never know, he might be able to take advantage if the two Darrens, if Darren and Dan ahead of him come together. There was a bit of a mistake there from Dan Cope, just catching a bit too much of the sausage curb there again, but manages to keep the line nice and tight, which is a strange thing to see after clouting the sausage curb. But Baldwin's got the run up towards the outside of the corkscrew. Is he going to try and do a little cutback move here coming out of turn 8 and 8A? No, he thinks better of it as he continues to put the pressure on Dan Cope. It looks like there's been some mistake by Connor Heron which we missed. Was that? It might just been the slipstream effect actually, going up towards the corkscrew hairpin, and that's allowed Craig Thomas right onto the rear bumper of Heron, as behind you can still see Dan and Darren fighting away for 4th position. We just don't know which battle to look at here. Darren seems to have got the better of Dan into turn number 2, as Connor seems to get the better of Craig at the moment and keeps his 2nd place. Behind, Darren has got the better of Dan Cope this time and will take 4th place, but will he be able to keep it this time? Looks like he's got a bit of a lead, maybe a small mistake from Dan coming out of turn number 2. And it's put him back towards the clutches of Neil Smell, who's beat. These two are both being caught in turn by Ismail Nemri, who's recovering after that incident on lap number 2. But we go back to the battle for 2nd place, and Connor Heron now just about keeping the better of Craig Thomas as they approach turn number 6. And that drag race up to the corkscrew yet again for the 6th time, the penultimate time of the race. Connor that little bit wider than Craig holding a tighter line up in that slipstream, up towards the braking point. Will there be any move at all from Craig just yet? Maybe not this time, but time is certainly running out. They almost follow each other directly through the corkscrew. Down towards turn number 10, Connor seems to have got a slightly better run that time out of the corkscrew, and will have a bit of a lead over Thomas going into the final lap. It certainly cost them a bit of time, because Andrew Oster now up at the front has got nearly a 6.5 second lead. Then barring any dramatic failure, he will win this race. Hopefully that's not the commentator's curse on Andrew now, but he should win this race by a comfortable margin now. The question will be who is going to be second, as Heron and Thomas still are battling away into the Andretti hairpin. Almost together as Baldwin and Cope are yet again nose to tail, as Ismail and Smell join the battle for fourth position, making it 4 cars. Ismail just getting the better there of Smell out of turn number 2. Darren just trying to keep a little bit of space between Cope. Cope taking the inside line, a little bit of door handle to door handle action going on. That allows Cope up into 4th place for the time being, but Darren wouldn't have taken that lightly. Cope defending very, very late there into turn number 5. Darren going to the outside line, maybe have a look into the corkscrew hairpin later on in the lap, but it looks like Connor now pulling it away that little bit from Craig Thomas in 3rd place. The slipstream coming into play up towards the corkscrew for the final time. They hit the brakes and Thomas is right back on the rear bumper of Heron, and may have a look into the final corner as we head up towards the leader, who we haven't seen a huge amount of, but he's just driven away with this race. You can see them in the background. They've closed up by about a second, but Andrew Ostler is going to win race number 2, and it looks like it will be from Connor Heron. The flash of the lights and victory there for Andrew Ostler in race number 2. 2nd place will be Connor Heron, with Craig Thomas in 3rd. Darren Baldwin getting 4th over the line from Dan Cope in 5th. Neil Smell getting 6th place. Ismail Nemri in 7th, just dropping back at the end. And Michael Watts completing the lineup in 8th place across the line. Fantastic racing and almost a masterclass of how to drive there in race number 2 from Andrew Ostler. Fantastic to see, and a fantastic victory for him that pulls the championship battle slightly back into his favour. He lost out 2 points first time round, but he gained 3 that time round, I reckon. So that actually closes the battle up to 12 points now, which is great to see, and will be great for Andrew and for all of us going into the 5th round next week at Goodwood. So let's just take a final look at the classifications there. That's Andrew Ostler winning by a fraction over 5 seconds from Connor Heron. 3rd place was Craig Thomas. 4th was Darren Baldwin in the end by 0.4 of a second from Dan Cope. In 6th place was Neil Smell, and 7th Ismail Nemri, with Michael Watts doing his best to recover in 8th after that small mistake on lap number 2. That was some fantastic racing. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I certainly enjoyed it, as this is one of the only and few races that I currently commentate on at the moment. But tomorrow night, please be sure to tune back into the Eldar Sim Racing YouTube channel, as we have the Mugen Masters, brought to you by Andrew Hopley, who should be back on the mic duties tomorrow, alongside Will Sutters, as the NSX GR4 cars take to the track, I believe for the penultimate round. Actually, I could be wrong, but I do believe it is the penultimate round tomorrow night for the Mugen Masters. And then we have a bit of a rest day on Thursday, with Friday night being the ESR Friday Night Leagues, with the BTCC and the host with the most, Malcolm Argyle, back in his normal place in the BTCC League, with Andrew Hopley bringing League 2 on the main ESR channel on YouTube, with the Porsche Cayman Super Cup, and Darren Baldwin back with the Mazda MX-5 Touring Car Championship on Eldar Sim Racing 2's channel. If you're unsure or want any links, please get onto Facebook and give the Eldar Sim Racing group a like and a follow, and all the links will be posted there for you to follow us on. And as per normal, if you enjoy or want to take part in any of the races, drop us a message on there and we will get back to you as soon as we can. With spaces available in a few leagues, like the Peugeot 208 that you saw tonight, I'm sure we'll be able to accommodate you somewhere. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, hopefully I haven't bored you too much, and I will hopefully be back next Tuesday night with more Peugeot 208 action. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you soon.